Let's firstly have a look at the top 19. Of course, the three players chosen with the priority draft: Murphy Thomas for Collingwood and Xavier Ellis for Hawthorn.
What about the shag on Dale Thomas? That is magnificent.
That'll be brought into light, I'm sure. So they're the priority picks. And let's look at the next 16, which are effectively round one. Josh Kennedy with the Blues, no surprises there. Pendlebury, as you mentioned, perhaps a little surprised that he was taken so early. Bo Dowler is an interesting one because a car accident 4 weeks ago, 4 fractures to his pelvis. Yep. Hawthorn, perhaps a little gamble there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I reckon no one's 100% certain, despite the positive medical reports, how he's going to come up from that accident. Everybody, of course, hoping that he'll be 100% to go. They obviously invested their second pick, number 6 overall. Essendon got lucky with Patrick Ryder. He could have easily gone at 4 or 5. That was a great result for them. And I think Richmond and the Western Bulldogs both delighted to get their first picks. Both players they thought might have been available when their turn came, and they were happy to get them both.
And picks 12 through 19, and West Coast would have been rapt to get Shannon Hearn at number 13, and Grant Birchall from Tasmania. Hawthorn would have been, I reckon, pretty happy to pick him up at that stage.
Geelong have taken another punt. We're going to have a look at the kids a bit later on in the show who have got little fitness question marks over them. Travis Varco, had he been fit, he would have probably been a top 5 pick. So exciting was he in his early days. But he's had that foot problem, and that's just held him back. Hasn't played a lot of footy. Geelong have decided to take the punt. If they get him right, he is particularly explosive and could be a great player for them.
Well, as we said at the outset, Mark Murphy, no surprise he was taken number 1 by the Blues. Of course, he was offered the opportunity under the father-son rule to go to Brisbane. Of course, his father, a great Fitzroy player, 246 games in all across 3 clubs, but he was certainly, from all experts you'd like to listen to, Andy, he was the pick of the crop.
Well, Chris, he decided not to take the father-son option that Brisbane, really tried to lure him with. He decided that he wanted to stay in Melbourne, and he's got his wish. Went number 1. He was probably, out of all of the potential top 1 picks, he was probably the most cast iron out of all. You sort of know what you're going to get with Murphy. He's a born footballer, knows where it is, knows how to get it, generally knows what to do with it. He's probably going to be one of those lock him away, 150, 200 game players and just be a really good footballer for that footy club for a long time. Carlton will be delighted if he can win 5 best and fairest like his old man won at his club. If he can win 5 at Carlton, they'll have done extremely well.
Reckon, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Tim Hodges caught up with Mark Murphy. This is what he had to say after being drafted 1 by the Blues.
Mark, what's the emotion? Is it relief? Thank goodness that's over.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a lot of relief. Over the past week, it's been pretty full on, so it's just good to get it over and done with, and probably go to training on Monday will be good.
Will it be daunting heading to Optus Oval Monday morning as a Carlton player?
Yeah, I think I'll be pretty nervous when I walk in the doors the first time, but I'm just really looking forward to getting out there and having a crack at it. So,
congratulations, a top pick. Well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
Mark Murphy talking there, and he was obviously a wrap to go to the Blues.
Despite the fact that everybody's talked him up and he's going to be number 1 and all the rest of it, and he knows he's going to be picked up. He's going to be picked up in the first 2 or 3, irrespective. But I guess I'll never know. You'll probably never know either now. But just to hear that name, the relief factor must be pretty significant.
Well, let's focus on the Blues. We've already talked about Mark Murphy, taken, of course, by Carlton at number 1. But let's have a look at their other draft picks, Kevin. And Josh Kennedy at 4, we'll talk more about, see some vision of him in a moment, but a big risk perhaps because he has undergone some significant shoulder surgery.
Yeah, just the other day, but he'll recover from that. The first 3 there are all Australians from the Under-18 Championships this year, so form on the board. Murphy we've talked about as a midfielder. Well, Kennedy and Bauer give you key forward in Kennedy and key defender in Bauer. So they've gone for the bookends, so to speak. And Jake Edwards, well, he's the son of Butch Edwards. Yeah. Butch Edwards' son, just 17 years of age, a left footer, and can play both ends of the ground as well.
Well, this is Josh Kennedy, and he's certainly a star for Western Australia and also for East Fremantle.
Yeah, had some senior experience this year. You like the way he gets in front, don't you?
Knows how to,
into packs. Yep. He works very hard inside 50. His parents actually were both elite basketballers, and he was born in Melbourne, spent a lot of time up at the OAS, and then in recent years has been up around Geraldton in Western Australia.
I noticed from Northampton too, Shifter, they've churned turned out a couple of handy ones over the journey. Paul Hazelby, and I reckon Dean Kemp might have come from Northampton, so they know how to produce some handy footballers.
And East Fremantle, we mentioned earlier, doing a fantastic job in getting the guys out of their country zone into Perth, developing them as AFL players.
Well, let's hear from Dennis Pagan. Well, not specifically talking about Mark Murphy, but certainly talking about their other draft choices.
Well, you would hope so. Josh Kennedy, you know, we think he'll be a real plus. Now he's had shoulder surgery, but I'm sure from a long-term point of view he's going to be an exciting player. You've heard all the reports about him. You know, Paul Bauer, you know, a key defender, fullback, and it's something that we needed. We're pleased with that. And to get Jake Edwards, the son of Butch, to come down and play with the Blues is terrific. And the reports I've heard about him are sensational.